Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tark Talks, the show where we look at some of the more interesting news from the month, and I give you some light thoughts on the matter. This month might be a little bit strange, as the bulk of interesting things going on, while they concern video games in the online space, they didn't spring from them. We got quite a bit of YouTube news to go over, news that might affect the platform as a whole in a dramatic way. And we're also going to look at what this might mean for a channel like mine. Let's start with the big one, the Big Cabana. She is not a showgirl, nor is her name Lola, but she is in fact Coppa, or Coppa if you will, as in, I don't really know where I'm going with that joke. Most creators have mentioned this on their channel or Twitter or Discord at least once by now, and right now nobody knows for certain what's going to happen, but anything seems possible, and it's this uncertainty that is the scariest part of the whole situation. In short, Coppa is an act by the FTC designed to protect children's rights and privacy online. It's been around for a very long time and was due to be updated in the next couple years. However, due to the advent of online video creation and its accelerated proliferation, Coppa was caused to update early. For the first time since YouTube's inception, it will be held accountable to Coppa and its standards. What this means for most creators is that if their content is being marketed specifically towards children, ads are going to be cut by up to 90%. However, there is a lot of gray area, things we don't fully understand as conflicting accounts are being given by many of the parties involved. The FTC has made statements indicating videos featuring animation, video games, bright and colorful thumbnails, and many more innocuous things are pretty much inherently aimed at children, and therefore they would be subject to Coppa sanctions. The first sanction is near full and immediate demonetization. The FTC has also stated that they will specifically target creators, and that creators found to be in error of Coppa can be fined for up to $40,000 per video. If these things come to pass with a black and white view of the rules as the FTC's spokesperson has laid them out, YouTube could very well come to an end. They've already been fined nearly $200 million. With that said, I don't think much will come of this for my channel, or most of the channels any of you watch. Ryan's Toys review may very well come to an end, but let's face it, they're probably already millionaires having sold their son's likeness to what's possibly the shittiest kart racer since Hello Kitty Cruisers, so they might not be too beat up about the whole thing. It's channels like Arlo that I worry for. That all said, I do believe distinctions for animation and video games will be better outlined and enforced as we enter 2020 and the full thing comes into effect. While all of this is going on, something else happened with YouTube that may in fact help my channel. If you guys recall, during one of the latest adpocalypses, YouTube stated that if we want to be sure we'll get ads, we'll need to make sure that our videos are fit for children. Well, clearly that wasn't the answer and has massively backfired on the platform. YouTube is now doing what they should have always done. They're giving advertisers the option of whether or not they want their ads shown on more mature videos, and advertisers overwhelmingly seem to be in favor of this. And why shouldn't they? Ads for car insurance or the new Xbox probably isn't hitting its demographic, playing in front of something like Baby Shark. While I don't go out of my way to be profane, usually, I would say my videos are for anything but children. With little exception, it seems demonetization here could be coming to an end. And I look forward to seeing how other creators and myself might be affected by that. If it goes how I hope, this could actually drastically improve the platform and make things like the Filthy Frank channel reasonable endeavors again. In other YouTube news, and this one is mostly for other creators out there, YouTube is having a growing issue with hackers and phishing scams. So let's look at how that's working. Not too long ago, a YouTuber by the name of GamerThumbTV had come to find one day that ownership of his channel had changed hands. Thinking at first that this was just a basic hacking job, he came to find that his channel info was stolen and sold. I watched this unfold and was somewhat baffled when one day his channel changed name entirely and all brand images were wiped clean. The GamerThumbTV I knew ceased to exist, and YouTube was having a hard time fixing the issue. This happened again a short while later with a YouTuber friend of mine named Irsha Gaming. Again, her channel info stolen and sold. It was a bit of a shock to see 3 foreign streams in my notifications coming from her channel all at once. Through some digging, she came to find that this started with an offer that was emailed to her. An offer to check out and cover a new cloud gaming service. She agreed and downloaded the software they sent her. She believes here that the software was malware and that's when her info was stolen. Smash JT covered this recently and showed that he received the same email that she did, and in fact, so did I. So of course I responded. All of us were potential victims to a phishing scam by Johnny Fox. When I replied, I told him that I would love to take part, asking him, "How's 16 bucks sound? I'm willing to accept pesos." "Deal," he said, seemingly unable to interpret the sarcasm. He sent me a file supposedly with some rules in it that I neither downloaded nor opened. I simply replied, "Looks great. Also, how many pesos do I get after my channel is stolen and sold?" Asking for a friend. He never responded. Moral of the story really is just be cautious. It's way more than just this one email from this one guy capable of doing this. It doesn't matter if an email goes into your spam or if it ends up in your regular inbox. You can never be too sure. I won't lie, but I respond to far less emails than I do, simply because I can't judge with certainty and don't want to risk engaging. You maybe don't have to be as cautious as I am, but be cautious nonetheless. Also, if you've ever sent me an email that was legitimate and I didn't respond, this is kind of the reason why, and I apologize for not getting back to you. Next, let's just move on to talking about Death Stranding again, and the issues it's facing with the Game Awards. It's not that I put too much stock in the Game Awards, they're really just an excuse for people to add a new quote to a new reprinted box. Anybody who does keep up with the Game Awards though knows that Geoff Keighly, award show host and creator, has developed something of a friendship with game designer, director, and writer Hideo Kojima, giving loads of coverage to him and his newest title, Death Stranding, throughout the years. So when Death Stranding finally released to loads of praise and loads of scathing criticism, then it went on to be nominated in several categories, including Game of the Year. Many people jumped at the opportunity to shout bias and conflict of interest. I get it, but I don't fully agree with it. The way I see it, looking at its nominations, it's definitely earned nearly every one of them, with the only outstanding one being Best Soundtrack. If there's any nomination this game doesn't deserve, I would say that's it. But otherwise, most of these seem like fair nominations to me. Furthermore, Geoff himself, as far as the show is concerned at this point, is just the guy who reads the names on the cards. He doesn't get a vote, and I highly doubt he's out there trying to sway anybody's opinion or coerce them on who should win. Famitsu, who has a long history with Kojima and a vested interest in Death Stranding's success, is on the board of voters for who determines the winners, and they're the ones I fear could have any sort of real conflict of interest here. But they are simply one of many, and unless Death Stranding wins some big award by only one vote, I really don't think it matters that much. The way I see this though, this kind of conflict of interest that Geoff is being accused of, was inevitable and is inevitable of any long-standing award show host or creator. Obviously, being such a big part of the industry, he's going to meet and likely become friends with many other people in the industry. In fact, I'm surprised this outrage hasn't been as pronounced before as it is now. This outrage only exists because his friendship is a rather public one. But make no mistake, he undoubtedly has a friend or two in almost any big studio active today. You don't do this job for this long and not make contacts and relationships like this. So then, what should the solution be? Well, Geoff and Famitsu can withdraw, I guess, but that seems entirely unwarranted. There's no smoke here and there's no fire. This is just the internet doing what they do when the wheel of cognitive dissonance starts grinding. Now let's move on to a little bit less controversial news for a bit. First off, Trails of Cold Steel 3 is doing what I thought it was never going to do. It's coming to the Nintendo Switch. No word on Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 coming yet. That's probably an Xseed's court, and that's very much up in the air. But if you have any interest, give it a go. Last month, I also told you guys that Limited Run Games was doing a physical print of Mary Skelter 2 on Switch, which comes bundled with Mary Skelter Nightmare as well. The pre-orders for that are open, but they won't be for long, so act fast. To add on to this, we have more exciting news. Moe Chronicle for Switch is also getting a North American physical release through Limited Run Games. Now, I knew Limited Run Games took a sip of the weeb aid here and there, but it feels like with these two games, they've dunked their whole damn head in, and I for one am glad to see it. The world needs more niche publishers and distributors. For games coming out this month, there's really not that much. I mean, we're all gonna be too broke buying Christmas gifts for other people to buy any of these for ourselves, but maybe if somebody needs a late gift idea for you, We got some Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition for those craving some classic RPG goodness. We've got Raging Loop, Darksiders Genesis, and Detroit Become Human all heading to PC. And we have Star Ocean First Departure R coming to PS4 and Switch, which I'm desperately praying will actually be good. Not much really coming out in December on my radar, most are just ports and remakes, but then it's usually ideal for companies to get their big releases out of the way before this time anyway. For channels to look out for this month, if you've never come across JRPG Jungle before, swing by and give them a check. It's hosted by one of the most well-spoken people I've come across. Very clear and articulate. She just crossed 10k subscribers, so big kudos to her, and she also just completed Trails of Cold Steel 3, which was in fact her very first ever Trails game, which made her perspective on playing it extremely valuable to somebody like me, where all I see everywhere is opinions from longtime fans. It's really nice to see how things work out from an unclouded point of view. So if you're one of those people who are looking into getting Trails of Cold Steel 3 on the Switch but never played the first two, check out her review and see if maybe the game will work out for you. And hell, if it just sounds interesting to you, I'll leave a link to her channel in the description below. Now getting back into the big stuff, the last thing I want to talk about today has nothing to do with anything relevant to this channel, and that is, f*** off PayPal. Seriously. There's very little I'll truly make a big deal about, but something happened this month that really rubbed me the wrong way. PayPal cut all funding opportunities from Pornhub. Models and performers on that website who before could accept cash through PayPal no longer can. I actually have a lot of respect and a lot of sympathy for adult entertainers. It's not easy what they do, and it comes with a great personal cost. What they do, as far as I'm concerned, is honest fucking work. And honest fucking work as well, and it deserves honest pay. Now, Pornhub isn't exactly some beacon of hope for independent performers or anything, and as a website, it has done a lot of damage to the industry due to its rampant and mostly unchecked piracy. But it is an avenue, a very large avenue in fact, for performers to get their start and start making some money. God knows adult entertainers have a hard enough time as it is, and it just bugs me seeing more and more opportunities stripped away from them. There are other ways for them to make money and accept money, but losing even this one will come as a huge blow to the livelihood of many struggling creators on there. A lot of us think that we have it hard here on YouTube, no pun intended, what with the adpocalypses and such, but put yourself in their shoes. Imagine getting no money after essentially shoving the entire Eiffel Tower up your ass for the world to see. It's not exactly fair. Over 100,000 people are immediately affected by this, and unfortunately performers from Asian countries and much of Latin America and some other places, there doesn't seem to be much recourse. There's no other directions for them to turn. PayPal was the only legitimate option. Now, apologies for anybody who doesn't tune into this show for news about porn stars and paychecks, but this crap just irritates me. So, one last time, f*** off PayPal. But also, like, don't fuck off too much, because I do still use and require your services. Just fuck off your way into giving them fair opportunities. Fuck off your way into giving them the same opportunities I get as a creator. Because really, at the end of the day, we're all kind of doing the same thing, just, I do it with less orifices. That's all I'm going to say on today's episode, guys. If you guys enjoyed the show, let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever, you know the deal. Links to all my socials are in the description. As always, folks, thanks for watching.